101 with Pam's Scrapbooks. I am Pam, and I'm really happy to have you here with me tonight. I hope you have enjoyed the Scrapbooking 101 series. We started in January of this year with this new series, and it's been so much fun showing you all how I scrapbook. And, I hope that this will inspire you to scrapbook. Grab your supplies and get going on your albums. I hope for those of you who are beginners that this will help you um, get started, give you some ideas. And for those of you who are seasoned scrapbookers, I hope that this will motivate you and give you some new tips for scrapbooking. So tonight, I kind of wanted to bring everything together that we have talked about since the first class. And so we are going to make a couple pages in my camping album, which I have here with me. If you are signing on, thank you for joining me tonight. And if you'll leave your comment, your name, and where you're from, I would love that. Hey, Gail. Thank you for watching. Good to see you tonight. Awesome. All right. I am just going to flip my screens around. I'm going to get rid of this here. There we go. All right. So this is my camping album. I had told you guys earlier in the year, I have several events, I'll call it, or vacations that I like to do separately. I do a chronological album, but I like to do some of my albums separately. And this is one of them because we go on a lot of camping trips. And so I take a lot of pictures, first of all, and second of all, I want to have it in its own book so that I'm not looking for it in my chronological book. So I like to have it all together. I do a camping album separate, I do a Christmas album separate, and most of the time when we go on vacations, I will do those separate from my chronological, just because I want them to be their own special album, and I don't want to have to flip through my chronological to find them. So this is my camping album. It is an older collection. I don't even remember what this one was called, but as soon as I saw it, I knew that I wanted it because it has this little cute little camper down here and this Volkswagen van here. So that was perfect for my husband and I. And I can't remember if there is a current album out for camping right now. We had a collection earlier this year, but I don't remember if there's a specific camping album out right now. But if you hop on over to my website, you can check that out. So before I get started in the album, I just wanted to talk about what I've done to get ready to scrapbook. So I have my album here. I have my pictures here, very important. And I have this whole container full of camping. This is all by itself. Normally, I would have this tab and I would have it labeled here, camping, but I don't have this labeled this time. And then I sorted it because there's 4 different camping trips pictures in here. So I sorted them out, divided them by the divider, stood this one up because I didn't have another divider handy. And so now I'm all ready to go. And the pictures that we're going to be scrapping tonight are just these few. This was just a quick overnight camping trip that we took. So I've got these ready. They are the next one in my chronological camping album. And so there's just a few for this camping trip. And so I have those all ready. I have a project folder that when I find camping stuff that I like and I buy it, I put it in this folder so that it's all together, all of my camping papers, and I've got some stickers and I've got some laser borders here. So I've got it all ready and organized here in this project folder, ready to go. So when I'm working on my pages, I can just go through this and find the papers that I want to use. And then the things that I have over here to the side are my frequently used items, like lined paper for my journaling. I love this lined paper, and this is actually the first time that I'm using the natural. And I'm using this because natural color, because my pages in my album are natural refill pages. That's the color of my refill pages. So I want my journaling to be the same color as my pages. And then I have kind of a theme in my album with brown cardstock as my photo mats. So I have that ready to go too. And I'll probably slide this in my project folder when we're done here tonight, just to keep this all together, because I only have a little bit of it left. So I want to save it for this album. So just things that I have waiting over here. I've pulled out a couple of the punches that I'm thinking I might use in my camping layouts, campfire and trail sign. If you're interested, I do have each of these in stock in my inventory. So there we go. So I have a couple things ready, punches ready to go. And I think that's it. I think that's all we've talked about, right? Is to have your supplies organized. I've got my pens here, markers ready for journaling. So these are all ready to go here. I've got a black one because that's usually my go-to. But for my camping album, actually, I think I might use a brown marker. I think that's what I've been using in previous pages. So I've got markers here that are ready to go, ready for journaling. And I think we are good to get started. All right. So now, and what's great about these project folders, and I've done this several times now, is I can just take my pictures, slide them in this pocket, and then I'm good to go. I can put this in my rolling bag and take it with me to my crop. And I have everything right here in this folder. So it's so great. Such a great way to stay organized. All right. So let's open up this album. I know we looked through it a little bit in the last class. We talked about the different ways you can make pages with the refill pages. And that's what I'm using is blank refill pages. So let me show you those, because I've got blank ones in the back that I haven't scrapbooked yet. So this is a blank refill page, and this is the natural color. So it's kind of a tan. It's a darker color. We have white, we have Spargo, which is kind of an off-white, and we have black. So lots of fun colors to choose from. And I have a lot of variety of styles of pages in here. I like to put my photos on the photo mats, and you can see it's on the brown, like I talked about. I'm using that brown cardstock for my photo mats. I like to get my pictures cropped on a photo mat, put them in the book, and then I'll come back in and do my journaling and my decorating. I love that style of scrapbooking. It's nice and easy and quick, and it really focuses on your pictures, right? So, you know, I do have a couple pages that are, let's say, fancier, that has more design to them. But a lot of them in this album are just the pictures on the photo mats in the book with something around them, right? And 2-page layouts is what I normally try and stick to. I usually have enough pictures for a 2-page layout, and enough, I would say, would be 1, 2, 3, 4 on a page. Especially like this one. I don't think I cropped these down very much at all. So they're all 4x6. So they fit nicely together on the page. And then I had the 2 other ones that go with this hiking trip. So I've got plenty of room up here for my title. I've got plenty of room for journaling. So I really enjoy that type of scrapbooking. And then like this page, these 2 pages, I got my pictures on the photo mats and in the book. And then I just did a cute border across the bottom, couple stickers along the side here, and that was it. So very simple. You do not have to be an artist on every page. You do not have to make an artistic page for every page, right? Because the focus is your pictures. That's what we're trying to see, right? That's what we want to see. That's what is fun about the photo albums, is seeing all these great pictures and remembering this great time that you had. So do not feel like you need to get really fancy on every page that you do in the book. Now this layout, I believe, is from a sketch that was the Creative Memories virtual crop sketch. And it is so much fun to make. I love it. And I love the way it looks. I love the swirly that it gives you, the beautiful colors. It looks just gorgeous. So I got a little fancier with this layout, and you'll see that this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I did my layout on cardstock, and then I adhered that whole piece of 12 by 12 paper to the refill page. So that's an option as well. If you are a scrapbooker who scrapbooks on 12 by 12 paper only, you haven't scrapbook like this where you scrapbook on a refill page, you have that option with the refill pages as well, that you can adhere the whole page down to the refill page. And I have a lot of that up towards the front of this album. Here's one where I just used strips of paper, big strips of paper. Actually, this is, almost to the edge there. So here's another one that I did my page on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock or a piece of decorative paper, and then I adhered or wallpapered. The term is used, wallpapering. I wallpapered this refill page with this 12 by 12 page. So you can totally do that style of scrapbooking with the refill pages as well. Another one here where I wallpapered the whole 12 by 12 down on the refill page. Scraps of paper here, using up scraps of paper here. I like it. Some strips here and across. Very nice. You really don't have to get fancy if you don't want to. You can be as simple as you like. This one is cut at angles, some angle cutting here, and wallpapering the whole thing to the refill page. And then here's my first page in the album. All right, well, let's get started. We've talked about different styles here in using the refill pages. Let's get started. The first thing that I like to do is to crop my photos. And I like to use my personal trimmer for that because it's got a nice sharp blade, gives me a good clean cut. You really shouldn't use your 12-inch trimmer to crop your pictures. It will wear that blade out faster. Use this, that's what it's for. It's got that nice big sharp blade right down the edge of it, so it gives you a good clean cut. I have had this one for, I don't even know how long. I don't think it has a year on it, but they last forever. So I like to just crop my photos. And how do I crop my photos? What do I look for? Well, for this one, I looked for, it's got a lot of space up there with the sky. I can get the same effect and concentrate more on the people or the object in the picture if I crop all that empty space out. I'm going to leave the rest of this because I like that I can see this tree back here. I like that I can see this camper back here. So I like the rest of what everything in the background offers to the picture. For this one, when you're printing out your pictures, you have to be careful to print it out so that everything fits and nobody's head is cut off. So be sure and look at every picture before you print it. And Creative Memories, when you print with Creative Memories, you can say fit. I can't remember what the term is, but fit to the picture, fit to the page, or something to that effect, so that it will bring everything in at a smaller ratio. And that's what it is when you're taking the pictures. Your phone camera is set to a certain ratio, and so you have to watch that when you're printing them. You print at that same ratio or a smaller ratio so you don't cut off people's heads, because you could get your pictures back and be very upset. So be sure and open each picture and look at each one and adjust them as needed. I always just click the button, whatever the term is. I click that button to say fit to page or whatever, and I see, okay, well, did that just bring more of what I took the picture of into the picture? And if it does, then I leave it just like that. Okay. So I'm cutting all of these as squares or rectangles. I haven't seen one yet that I'll do as a circle, but I'm sure that I'll cut at least one as a circle. I have 9 pictures here, so that should be a good amount to fit on a 2-page layout. Just cutting off those white borders, because when you say fit to page, that's what it does, is it squeezes it in, and so then it adds a white border. I have to explain this picture and the weird look that's on my face. Let me trim this off. So when we went to this campground, it's basically, it's a newer campground, so they're still building it, and it was a very sweet little campground. Had a cool looking pool and stuff, like a natural pond type pool up front, very pretty. We got all set up and ready to camp, and I sat down and got a very strong smell of the pig farm that's just behind the field there. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to get into focus here. There we go. The pig farm right there. I have found that I'm a city girl for sure. I do like to camp, but the country smells I am not used to. I grew up in a small town. I didn't grow up in a big city or anything, but I grew up in a city. So all of those wonderful farm smells are not something that I grew up with. And yeah, they're not my favorite. So I really admire all of you who have, and I thank all of you who have grown up on farms and provided us with all of the yummy food that you've provided us with. I am grateful for you, because it's not something that I can do. All right. So now I'm going to cut this one as a circle. I just need to find my circle here. There we go. And I'm going to use my red blade. If you are not familiar with our custom cutting system, it is an awesome system where you have different shapes of templates. So I'm using a circle. We have ovals. We have wavy frames. I believe they still have those. We have hearts. Cute little hearts. So great way to cut shapes with a template and a blade. And so there's 3 different blades, and they are different widths. And you'll see these 2 little knobs. Those little knobs fit down into these grooves. So for example, this circle, if there's a groove on the inside of the circle and on the outside of the circle, and you fit those 2 little knobs down into that groove and then cut your circle. So the blue, the red, and the green will give you different size circles. because they are different widths apart from the blade to these two little knobs. The blue one is the farthest apart. So if you're trying to get the biggest circle using this template, you're going to use the blue blade on the outside, and that's going to give you the biggest circle. And then if you use the green blade, you're going to get a little bit smaller. I don't know what the width is between here. That's the difference between the size circles. And then the red one, you're going to get the smallest circle on the outside. Okay. So I'm going to cut this on the inside track, and I'm going to use the red because it is the narrowest width. And I want my picture to be as big as it can be because this isn't very big. So I want to use the red because I want the biggest. If I would use the blue, I'm going to get the smallest because it's the widest width on the inside. That's going to give me a smaller circle. And the green's going to give me in between the red and the blue size. For each of these templates, when you buy them, you get a sizing chart. So you can use that to figure out what size and which blade you need to use. So there we go. I cut that in a circle. And I was thinking I would cut the moon in a circle as well. There we go. Nice sharp blade. Okay. So there we go. I have my pictures all cropped the way that I want them. So now what I do next is I put them on photo mats. Oh, I better leave these blades out actually because I'm going to need photo mats for my circles. All right, so let's grab my brown paper, and please feel free to ask me any questions. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to jump over and see if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer those as we're making this page. Tina from Ohio. All right. Hello, Tina from Ohio. Well, any of you who are in the area, just to let you know, I have some events coming up. I would love for you to join me. Let's just flash this across here real quick. My Croptoberfest retreat. That is a scrapbooking weekend. It is 4 days, or you can choose to come 3 days. So you can come Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday. It's $190 for 4 days, $160 for the 3 days. I would love to have you all. We have such a good time, and we have tons of classes. We have music playing. We have prizes. We have demos. It's just so much fun. And the facility is a cute little historic school. It is up by Greenville, Ohio, which is the west, kind of Midwest. It's a little, I guess, south of Midwest, but it's toward the middle. It's not Cincinnati. It's not Toledo. It's right in the middle. And it's in a little town called Palestine, Ohio. And like I said, it's on the west side of Ohio near Indiana. It's a cute little school. We sleep upstairs in bunk beds. We eat downstairs in the dining room, and we scrap in the gym. We crop in the gym, and it's all in one building, so you don't have to walk outside to go anywhere. It's got beautiful bathrooms. They're nice and clean. It's got comfortable beds. So if you are in Ohio, and Tina, you just reminded me that of talking about this event, send me a message because I have spots available for my September 7th through 10th weekend. Okay, I'm going to hide this back up here. There we go. Just wanted to give a little plug there for my weekend because it's getting close. All right. So I have this one piece of brown here that I'm going to see if I have a picture that fits on there so that I can use that up. I do. I have a couple pictures. That one looks good. My terrible face picture. Okay, so this is good. I will use this one. Then I can use up this piece of scrap. Very good. I usually just put a little dime-sized strip of adhesive in each corner and one in the middle. And then I eyeball it. I, leave, I don't know what that is, an 1/8 of an inch. Is that what that would be? 1/16 of an inch. Just a nice little frame, just to bring the photo out. And I use my personal trimmer to trim off photo mats, but I also use my 12-inch trimmer because I'm going to start using these 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, so I'll need my 12-inch trimmer. But either one works just fine. So there we go. 1 down, 8 to go. So the next thing I do, or one of the things that I do when I'm putting photo mats on my picture is I will look for the biggest picture here, the widest and the tallest. So it's not these. It's not this one. The widest and the tallest. Okay, so that's this one here. And I will use that one because I know since this one's the widest, then this piece that I'm going to have left over underneath it, one of my other pictures will fit here. If I start with a small picture that's narrow, I don't know for sure, I'd have to make sure that I have another one that's the same width or smaller than this width. So I usually like to start with my biggest picture to try and not waste any cardstock. It's just a wonderful look I have on my face, isn't it? All right. So now I am going to need my 12-inch trimmer to trim this off. I'm going to move this out of the way here. So I like to use this guide. I love these guides that are in this arm of my trimmer. They slide up and down. They don't come out. They lock into place at the top and the bottom. There's one at the top and the bottom. And they have this wonderful black line right down the center of them. And that's showing me where my blade is cutting. So I can use that line when I'm doing my photo mats. And between my picture and that black line, I get the same, try and get the same width as I have over here. And I just eyeball it. I make sure my paper's snug up against the ledge. I put my arm down. I bring this guide out. Make sure I've got the same width there. And then I cut. And if it's not exactly the same, that's fine. It's a little wider over here than on this side, so I can just pick up this picture and move it around and even it out. So now I'm going to put my paper snug up against the ledge. I've brought this guide, the bottom guide, out. I'm going to eyeball it and see if I can get the same width. And there we go. So it's not exactly right, but that's okay because I can just adjust. Our adhesive is permanent, but you can lift things up. I try not to lift them up after, let's say a day or 2 days, whatever it is, because it does become permanent. So it may rip your paper. All right, there we go. So now I have this piece here. So there's a couple options. These are gonna fit on there, these longer pictures. I could use one of these. That would be good. Or I could see if the width, see now that fits perfectly right there in that width. So I'm gonna have this nice big size piece left over for something else. So there's a couple different ways I do this. If I used this piece for this one, that would be just fine too. I would just have a little skinny strip. So I'll use it for this wide one, right? Get this nice piece here. And then these two can be cut out on the big piece of paper. I just try and use it up. That's my logic. I don't know how logical it is. There we go. And then, you know, you can choose either one, your personal trimmer or your 12-inch trimmer. So now I have a little square, and this would be a nice little square to put a journaling box in on one of my pages. All right, let's grab the next two. These will go together here, and maybe we just take a look and see. We may get all of these done on one piece. Let's see how the best way is to do these. Excuse me, let me turn this over because I've got adhesive on it. I can fit those. I can fit those. I can trim this one down a little bit if I need to. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of these. I'm going to need one more piece, but that's okay. Let's try it this way. These two up here. We'll see. I'll do it this way. I think that gives me more of a chance to get more pictures on this piece of cardstock. And I just brought up that little guide. And there we go. And brought up the guide. Just eyeballed it. There we go. And then this one will fit nicely here. Okay. And I've got these two left. I can trim this one down a little bit, and I think I'll get them all on there. I might even get it on this one. No, I don't think I'll get it on that one. And I don't think these will fit here. Will these two fit here? I might have to trim them. All right. We're going to make it work. How many different styles of hair have we had in our lifetime? Man, if I had to count, that would take me forever. All right. I can trim this one. All right. I don't know if you guys have read this yet. I've been moving it around. You may not have been able to read it. This was hanging up in the bathroom. And by the way, this campsite had immaculate bathrooms. They were awesome. They were they have a whole big lodge at the campground. Really nice and clean. So this is what they had hanging in the bathroom. You know, us scrapbookers have to take pictures of all the silly things we see. All right. I think we're going to be good. We're going to get it all in. All right. So this one's going to fit nicely this way. Okay, so I'll cut it this way. Cut this bottom piece off. I'll have a nice strip of paper this way. I think we've talked about it before. For the trimmers, when you are putting, there's a ledge at the top or bottom, so you can push your paper against the top or the bottom, whichever you'd like, to keep it straight and stable, and then just cut toward the paper. So if you have your paper against the bottom ledge, push your blade toward the paper. If you have your paper at the top, push it up toward the paper. So just go towards what you're cutting and not away from, just to avoid it accidentally shifting and your cut to be crooked. Okay. And last but not least, there's a lot of different ways that you can eyeball this, and different what's the word? Different objects that you can line it up with. For example, if you move your picture over far enough so that it's lined up with just the edge of this arm, that's a great way to get all of your sides the same width, because you're lining it up with that arm, and then they'll all be the same width. With the personal trimmer, the thing that I use, I don't know if you can see it, but this protector here is smooth, but then right here it's got a rough piece for you to use to, there we go, you can see that, to put your thumb on to hold it. And so what I do when I'm lining up my picture is I line up the edge with the edge of that rough piece. So there's lots of different ways that you can, when you're eyeballing it, you will get the same width if you use the same thing to line them up. All right. There we go. So now I take my album. Oh, I didn't finish. You guys are probably all yelling at me. The circles, Pam, the circles. I forgot. Let's grab another piece here. I forgot my circles. Okay, so when I cut my these circles, I used the red blade, right? So that they would be the same, about the same size as that inside circle. So now in order to cut my frame, my mat, my photo mat for behind it, I'm going to use the small circle that comes with these. I have to find it. Sorry, it gets lost in here. There it is. So now I'm going to take the smallest circle of the templates, and I'm going to use, see, this is about the same size as that. And I'm going to use the red blade on the outside track, because I just want that narrow frame around my picture. And I like to get it as close as I can to the edge so that I'm not wasting paper. So I'll put my blade in and I'll bring it around just to make sure that it's not coming off the paper. I think we're good right there. And then a good idea is to lift up the paper to make sure you didn't miss any spots. There we go, and we're good. There we go. So I got a nice edge around my picture. And one more, and then we will be done with photo mats. Just a little bit more push or strength behind it when you're cutting cardstock. There we go. Very good. But if you have nice sharp blades, and you can buy these blades separately, I'm going to say around 2,000 cuts. And I use my red one the most, so that's the one that I have to replace most often. But they are nice and sharp, and they give you a nice clean cuts. You don't have any of the fraying edges. All right. I'm so in a hurry to get to my album. I just want to get to it. All right, but I think we're ready now, right? Just get everything out of the way here. Okay, so the next page is here, and I feel a sneeze coming on, so I apologize. I may sneeze here in a minute. All right, so there we are. We are ready. If I wanted to, I mean, there's 9 pictures here. If I wanted to, because I do like to do a collage, right? I like to have a fun collage where you squeeze in as many pictures as you can, and you just cover up and you overlap them, but you're only covering up some empty space, right? So obviously I'm not going to cover up faces or anything. I don't know that I'd have enough for these pictures. And actually, I mean, I kind of have 2 of the same there. But I love to do a collage. I think those are fun. I have kind of 2 of the same picture there too. So if I wanted to eliminate some pictures, I could eliminate those 2 because I've already got them here, right? And then I could do here. Ooh, this would fit nicely. See? A fun little collage. I could do something like that. Or if I don't want to, if I want to use all of my pictures, then I can spread them out. Give them more room. And I have 9, so I'm going to have 5 on one and 4 on the other. So 4, 4, and then I have this one. And this one really should go first because this one kind of comes, that's us leaving. So there we are leaving. This is earlier in the day. This looks like maybe it was earlier in the day. And then this one probably. Something like that. I like to have the same width. I don't know. I guess I'm a little OCD, but I like to have the same width in between my pictures. I just love the line that gives. It just gives it a nice clean look. Nice clean line. And maybe I'll do these kind of here just to separate these 2 out since they're similar. Something like that. Just lay them out whatever looks pleasing to your eye is how you should lay them out on your paper. And then I'm going to adhere these down, and then I don't know if I will immediately decorate with stickers or if I'll go to the next page and start that one. It just depends. Just depends on the mood that I'm in. But I could leave them just like this. I'm happy with them just like this. I can cut my little journaling box and put it right up here. I had that little piece, remember, that was left over. It's a little bit too big. I'd have to move this over a little bit. But I could do my little journaling right there, right? I got to do some journaling under this picture because I have to say why I look terrible. But something like that. And I can be done. If this is all that you want to do is get your pictures in here and do your journaling, that is fabulous. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and adhere these down. Now, sometimes as your book is getting bigger, because mine is, sometimes what I will do, and I'm going to have to get up here a minute. Those wonderful pieces of cardboard that you get in your paper packs and with your page protectors. If you hang on to one or two of them, because my page is kind of, underneath, it's got all my pages. So it is, I don't want to say bulging up, because our albums do lay flat. There's not like a big lump in them, but there is a curve to my page. So I will take a piece of cardboard and just lay it underneath just to straighten it up, just as I'm putting my pictures on, so that my pictures are laying nice and flat. Okay, so just a suggestion, if you want to have another little support under there so that you can get your pictures on and they're nice and flat. You don't have to have it. They will lay nice and flat either way. But just a suggestion. I've changed it around already. See what I did? And, I'll just use little things to eyeball it, like the jeeping that we have along the edge of our refill pages. I'm just using that and eyeballing it and making sure that it looks straight and has the same width. And see how it's kind of sticking up here? I'm just going to use some repositionable right along that edge and lay that flat down. There we go. There we go. So I didn't even put them down the way I had them a minute ago. Lots of different varieties there. Lots of different shapes you can do with your pictures. All right, I'm going to jump over. I'm going to see if you guys have any questions for me as I'm getting these pictures down on my page. Any questions? Hey, Jean. Hey, Janice. So happy to see you guys. Gail said, I learn something new all the time. I have trouble with circle sizes and making mats for pictures. Oh, well, I'm glad I could show you something new. Thank you for saying that, Gail. That makes me happy. Here we go. And I'm just, I'm just eyeballing it here just to and hopefully I have these on straight, just to have that same width between the pictures there. I like to overlap. I like to layer them. I'll put picture under picture and then frame under frame. So just a different look there. Okay, there we go. And I think because I reorganized that, now this piece is going to fit and it's going to look good with my journaling. Let me grab one of these guys. 12 by 12 lined designer paper pack. I love these. We have white. We have natural. We used to have Spargo, but they discontinued that one. These are great to use when you are hosting an event like a wedding or a baby shower or a bridal shower, and you have people sign on these, and then you put them down on your paper in the or put them down on your refill, and they are all your guest book is right here in your scrapbook. I did that for one of my girls' somethings, baby showers, weddings, and it worked out really well. Okay, so I'm just gonna measure this out. So I want to have a frame around it. And it looks like I can cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, 6, right under the 6th line is where well, I'll do right above the 6th line, kind of in between 5 and 6 there. Okay. And when I'm cutting this, I don't worry too much about trying just to cut the exact size that I need versus just cut it all the way across. I just cut it all the way across because I know eventually I'll use that same size in another page. So I just cut it all the way across, and I know that somewhere along the line I'll use the rest of it up. Oh, still gonna need this. All right. So now let's see. Just gonna eyeball it and hold my finger where I need to cut it. I don't do any exact measuring all the time. I just wing it. That's something that I like to say. I wing it a lot. All right. A little bit of adhesive here. So I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember what the name of this campground is, but I want to put that on here. I'm going to put on here where it's located and the date that we were here, and then the story around this camping trip. So I'm going to do all of that kind of journaling. And you know, you can do that if you decide you want to do some of your journaling here in this little square, and then maybe you want to do just right on the refill page, right underneath your picture, what it's about and what's going on and why this is funny, and you know, all of that stuff. You know, you can do that right here on the refill page. That will look great. I love that. You can use little scraps of paper to do your journaling. I think we've talked about that before. Take little scraps. Normally I'll use white, but this little scrap is laying right here, so I'll just show you as an example. Take a little scrap of paper and do your journaling and put it underneath the picture. Or sometimes if it's small enough and there's a good spot in the picture to do it, I'll put it on the picture. That's a cool look too. So lots of different options for doing your journaling. And they're easy, fast. There's nothing fancy or complicated about this layout. It's got lots of pictures. It tells the story. And it's a nice 2-page layout. And this was a short camping trip, so I don't have as many pictures from this camping trip. Now, the other pictures that I have in here, this is one camping trip. We went down to Gatlinburg, and we were there all week. So, of course, I'm going to have more pictures for that camping trip. I'm going to have extra pictures, but that's okay because my grandson, one of my grandsons was with us. So I can use any extra pictures that I'm not using in my book in his book. So that will be good. I can, you know, use up those pictures that way. So this camping trip had quite a few more and was a longer trip than this one. So I'm going to use up several 2-page layouts for this camping trip. Same thing with this one. That was a longer camping trip as well. So this one just happened to be like an overnight. So 2-page layout is going to tell the story of this weekend that we had. And then obviously I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to do some journaling here and tell the story about all of it. So there we go. There is our 2-page simple camping layout. Lots of fun. And like I said, I may leave this and move on and just go get my pictures for Gatlinburg. This is a little sticky note here that says Gatlinburg, and start on that one and get all of my pictures done, right? Get them out of here and into here first, and then I'll go back and journal and decorate and put titles on. So lots of different methods of scrapbooking. I also have some pre-made pages that I've done over, the last several years, hanging out with you guys. And so I'm going to go through those. And if I have some where I have pictures that will fit on those pages, I'm going to use those and I will wallpaper them in to my book. So that's also a way to speed up your scrapbooking. So, all right. Yes, someone made a comment about a lot of pictures. Absolutely. We have a lot of pictures. I've tried over the years to start scaling back how many pictures that I take. Because, I don't need, I didn't need 3 2-page layouts for this camping trip because it was such a fast trip, you know? So I try to be a little more thoughtful about how many pictures I'm taking. And if I do take a lot, I try when I'm getting ready to order them to be selective about which ones I'm going to print. Because when you get them back and they both look like the same picture, only, somebody's arm moved like an inch. Yeah, you probably really don't need both of those pictures, probably just one. So I try to be selective, taking pictures and picking them out for my book, so that I'm a little more thoughtful on how many pages that I'm doing about each event. 2-page layouts are great. All right. Well, that is it for me tonight, ladies. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I love getting together and talking about scrapbooking. I mean, I could talk about scrapbooking all day long. So that's great. And I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming. Let me show you my events again. My next Scrapbooking 101 is September the 18th. So I will be back next month and we will be working on more pages together. So I hope you will join me and have a great evening and a great week. Happy Monday. And I will see you soon. Hopefully I will see you on Wednesday at my Wednesday Night Live. Good night.